It is good to have with us at halftime Dr. John Watford, president of South Georgia Tech. Doctor, how are you?
I'm doing great, Robert. How are you doing today?
I am doing good as well. Thank you so much for the opportunity to talk. I know we do this about once a year, so it's become a routine.
That's great. I always enjoy talking to you, and it's always fun to talk about great things at South Georgia Tech, and of course our great men's and women's athletic programs in our Jets and Lady Jets.
Let me ask you this before we even get started on questions about South Georgia Tech, and I've been asking this of various individuals. It just feels like to me there is kind of a renewed or growing interest in junior college athletics. I mean, and that might be exclusive to this year. Does that seem to be true at events that you attend?
I really feel it too. People are beginning to respect the value of coming to a 2-year school. We've even had some of the recruits' family that where the students were being recruited by 4-year D1 schools, and because their families were involved in athletics and at the college level and on even into the professional level, they wanted their young person to come to a JUCO school because um, if you go from straight out of high school into that D1 school, unless you are a superstar, and I mean a really big superstar, you're not going to get much play time. And a lot of things could happen during that redshirt year or the freshman year or even the sophomore year. But when you come to a JUCO school and you are that superstar in high school, your playing time is going to be a lot more increased. And of course, more play time you get, the better you get, the more experience. So from that side of it, I have seen an especially renewed interest in 2-year opportunities.
And let me say, too, to the fan, I say this often as well. If you don't go to a junior college athletic event, there's a good chance you are missing somebody that is going to be playing at the professional level at some point. And South Georgia Tech, a perfect example of that with Jay Crowder. Jay Crowder played his ball there, and man, he hit the big time and played in the NBA for a number of years. Heck, he may still be. I don't know.
I believe he is.
But so you're missing out if you don't go check out a JUCO event.
Well, and we have great players, and I say we at South Georgia Tech we do, but in all of these colleges that we compete with, it's fascinating to see the level of talent that comes out on the courts. And a lot of our locals have realized that. I know you've seen it when you're at the games, and you see the fans that are out there, and it's not just people that are directly connected with South Georgia Tech, even though a lot of them are, and we love to have those. But there's a lot that just love the sport and love athletics and come out just to see the talent, not only here at South Georgia Tech, but from the other colleges as well.
All right, let's talk about sports in South Georgia Tech. On the ladies' side, you've got a coach who is now in his second year, and your AD as well, and off to a great start.
Yeah.
So you got to be pleased with that hire.
I am so pleased with Jason Carpenter has hit the ground running. He already had some great coaching experience. The athletic director, administrative side of it was a little new to him, but he's very mature. He's very intuitive and very smart. So all of those things translate to a great administrator. So he's doing a great job on both sides. But I love the way he connects with the students, the players. He communicates so well with our faculty and staff because a coach has to do those things. And then I've seen him with recruits and their families, and that's a critical part of coaching is being able to relate and understand what those recruits are thinking, what their family members are thinking when they're coming to look at our college in hopes that their student might come. So he's got all those boxes checked, and I'm looking forward to continued great season with Jason at the helm.
And on the other side of the court, on the men's side, Chris has been there in South Georgia Tech, I think 12 or 13 years as a whole. Not that long as a head coach,
Right.
but definitely he is part of the reason there's kind of a family atmosphere at South Georgia Tech.
He really is. Chris brings so much to the table. He has that very even keel demeanor. Yes, just like any good coach, he's gonna when it's time to get your back hair up, he'll get his back hair up. But it's not a every 5-minute thing with Chris. He's going to do it when it's necessary. and he's fun to watch coach. You know, some coaches are very laid back, and I would say Chris is a little laid back too, but I enjoy watching him coach because I see a lot of leadership, and I see a lot of respect from the students toward Chris and Ray Johnson, his assistant coach. And of course, we've got a great assistant coach in Olivia Melvin on the ladies' side. So I'm really proud of this whole coaching staff that we have and the opportunities that they're bringing for these students.
And always when we converse, I'm thinking about the athletic side because that's what we're involved with. But obviously, a much larger side of South Georgia Tech is the academic side. So the last time we talked, I know there were new things coming. What about this year, a year later? Is there still more on the horizon?
There is. We're real excited that we have just at the end of 2024, we've just received approval from the Georgia Board of Nursing to begin accepting students for our LPN to RN bridge program. That's for students who are already, I say students, people who are in the community already practicing as a licensed practical nurse can come back, and for one more year they can get their RN and sit for their RN license. That's big for South Georgia Tech to be able to offer that, and it's big for our athletes because there's a lot of biology courses and courses that are readily transferable to D1 schools, which all of our athletes aspire to do that, to transfer on to a D1 school. And those courses transfer a lot better, especially if they're wanting to go into the medical side of sports science. And so I know a lot of them are taking some of those biology classes that we've just recently started offering because of the RN program. So that's big for everyone.
I imagine that process is very extensive. So we won't ask you to take us through the entire process, but length of time, is that something that you give birth to idea-wise years in advance? How long does it take that to come to fruition?
You know, it has been years. We got serious about it probably about 15 months ago. The application process was at least a year long. The application is almost like a college a doctoral dissertation that you submit to the Georgia Board of Nursing, because you've got to have your plan, not just plan in place, but you've already should already have committed some resources and finances to the program before they will approve the program. So there's a lot into it. We've already hired the 3 nursing staff that we had to hire in addition to that biology instructor. So yes, there's a lot of preparation that goes into that.
I picture you as a goal-oriented kind of guy, and that when one goal is achieved, you've already thought about the next one, what you want to pursue next. So what does John Watford want to pursue next?
You know, we have a lot of opportunities for students at South Georgia Tech, and our goal is to continue to increase those opportunities without minimizing what we already do. Our mission is workforce education. And we have just signed a new partnership with AGCO. We've talked before about our partnerships with Caterpillar and John Deere. Well, AGCO is seller of Fendt and Massey Ferguson tractors. And so that covers 2 more bases with diesel tractors and a partnership where they'll be supplying training for our instructors and our students, as well as equipment supplies. So we've just signed that agreement. We'll be moving forward with putting that in place during the year 2025. We're also very excited about the opportunity to continue to work with Georgia Southwestern State University. They have a new president over there, Dr. Michelle Johnston, and she's coming to us from coastal Georgia. And she is on fire for partnerships with both South Georgia Tech and with our Sumter County school system. And we've already had several meetings and are working toward that end. So that's going to open up some articulation agreements for students to be able to continue their education after they leave South Georgia Tech, if they once they get employed, or even if they choose not to go straight into the workforce and want to go straight into that bachelor degree opportunity, that will be available to them. So all those things are on the drawing boards and in the process of implementation now, and we're really excited about that.
One thing I see when I drive past junior college campuses, all over the country, is a lot of construction. So we've talked about academics, athletics. What about the physical aesthetics there on campus? I mean, is there things that you would like to see built or constructed over the course of the next 5 to 10 years?
Yes, sir. We definitely want to see our dorms expanded. We call them dorms. I know that's kind of an antiquated terminology, but our college has been around a while. But our residence halls, we have 250 beds in our residence halls, and even when right now our enrollment's up, and we actually had to turn away students that were on a waiting list to go into the residence halls. And from a president standpoint, you never want to turn students away. We want everyone, and but we just didn't have a place for them, and so we try to put them in online classes and things like that, but they really wanted to live on campus. So we want to expand that opportunity for our students, and we're also expanding the gym. That project is already on the ground. You'll see some construction in the gym even as we speak. At the front part of the gym, it won't affect the game other than where the facilities might be used in the concessions area. But we're going to continue to expand that out and add classrooms and an exercise room for our general student body, but add classrooms for our rec and leisure management program that is part of our academic offerings down here in the gym.
I'm going to bring it full circle and go back to athletics. Do you foresee at some point additional sports there at South Georgia Tech?
I never want to rule out anything. Whatever we do, we want to be great at it. We never want to just have something just to say, yeah, we've got that program. But we also want it to be able to sustain its own cost. We don't use state dollars. We don't use taxpayer money to finance our JETS program. We use local dollars and Booster Club monies, and we're very grateful to our Booster Club and our Booster Club members for that. But we're able to balance those with those budgets. If we ever were to add, we would probably start, because we have tennis courts. We may have a tennis team. We may add track, maybe even a softball team, because we have a softball field. But all those would be on the 5-year strategic plan, let me say, rather than the next year or two strategic plan.
Dr. John Watford, president of South Georgia Tech, it is always a pleasure to talk to you, and obviously an honor to be able to stream Jets basketball. Thanks for being our halftime guest.
Thank you, Robert. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.